Now we're joined by Ivan Fahy, who is an androgynous model, gender and LGBT activist from Galway. Ivan's here to talk about a short documentary that was made about him by Thinkhouse, which is a youth marketing company in Dublin.
Since the video was uploaded to Facebook, it has been viewed by over 100,000 people, spreading Ivan's message that diversity is reality and that we should celebrate and embrace it. Before we talk to Ivan, let's take a look at a clip from the video.
My photos show that boys do wear makeup, boys do wear high heels. I'm a boy, I'm wearing them, and we do exist. We don't come out at 2 a.m. or something crazy like vampires, you know. My name is Ivan Fahy, and I'm a model. You're challenging the system of gender. Basically, no matter how good you are, people won't work with you, and that's my struggle. It's whether they want to work with me and take a risk. And if someone works with me, all of a sudden they are doing it for attention or for publicity, and it's not true. They might just be working for me because they like me as a model.
And Ivan joins us now. Ivan, you're very welcome to
Thank you
Ireland
very much.
AM. Now, I was reading notes last night, and one of the first things in a little description that you gave about yourself is you describe yourself as a gender-expressive model. And this was new to me, so I would like you to explain what a gender-expressive model is.
So for me, it means that I express myself and I express my gender free from norms. So instead of saying I have to act this way because I'm a guy, I'll say, actually, I'll decide how I want to act for myself without kind of taking those societal ideas into account. So I'll say I'll wear high heels, I'll wear makeup. And so everybody expresses their gender. We all have a gender, we all express it. And so I like to kind of use that term because it kind of opens the whole thing up to everyone. It's more holistic, if you get me. So we're all gender expressive in that way. But I really do express my gender beyond how most people would.
OK, actually, speaking of gender, what is your gender?
Male.
Okay.
So I was assigned male at birth.
All right, OK.
And identify as male. But I am my own version of a male, I suppose, so I don't want to just kind of die without ever being Ivan.
All right, OK, so there's no doubt. You are a man, and you have no doubts about that, and you have no reservations about it one way or the other. But how you express that maleness or masculinity is entirely, you know, up to you, and not to be bound by societal norms.
Yeah.
OK.
And also the femininity within myself. I believe there's both masculinity and femininity within everyone. But because society, you have to suppress one or exaggerate the other. And, you know, psychology would say that people who are androgynous, who have both masculinity and femininity, are better adapted because they can be comforting and they can take comfort and they can be demanding and powerful and also be kind of, you know, timid as well. So you have to have a balance. But society says you have to be the macho man who has loads of kids and the wife, or you have to be the feminine woman and the mother.
Does society still say that, Ivan? I mean, we've really moved on. I mean, that's easy for me to say because I've never expressed myself as anything other than a woman. So I would like to think that now we're cool with people being fluid from a gender perspective. Am I wrong in thinking that?
I think so, because there are still so many pressures on people. You know, all you have to do is ask someone like me or other trans or gender diverse people growing up in school, or just gay people as well, lesbians. They have such a pressure on their shoulders of this expectation they have to be. And every day there's something in the news about women being told they have to wear high heels at work, which was recently in the news. And there's always, you know, feminist topics coming up. So I think this topic of gender is only coming to the fore now. And I think we're kind of opening the box. So some people are very progressive, like my family and friends. You know, I live in a bubble in that regard. But then when I go outside, I meet strangers, I'm kind of met with this. And I'm like, oh, God, kind of taken back a few steps.
How do people react when they meet you?
So it depends. Like, if they meet me in context of modelling, they're usually like fans, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're amazing," and they really take inspiration in what I do. But if I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time, who knows? You know what I mean? I have to be careful because I don't want to bring on any...
Have you been in abusive situations?
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't.
But I don't drink or party a lot, so in a way, I'm kind of naturally avoiding the places that could be most dangerous for me.
So you're careful about where...
Yeah. Which is the problem too, because it's so easy.
You should be able to go where you want.
Yeah, and it's so easy to conform. But again, it's like the topic with just women in general. You know, women in general mightn't feel safe after hours walking home, and men in certain rough areas of town. So it's not, you know, it's about all of us not having total freedoms.
This isn't just your personal journey in terms of your identity and who you are and how you want to express and all the rest. There's also your academic journey, because this is what you studied in college. And of course, I think a lot of people's first introduction to you would have been, student graduates in high heels.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
but they've forgotten, and nobody actually asked, oh, by the way, what was it he was graduating in?
Yeah, it was kind of just the fact that I graduated in high heels. But yeah, I studied psychology and sociology and politics, and in those lectures I learned a lot about norms and you know, the journey of humans basically across different topics. So it's great that I had that sort of academic background, and then I had my own kind of, you know, vision and energy towards that as well. And it's a nice kind of mix, you know.
Has it been difficult at times to say who you are publicly?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm very confident in who I am, and when I'm ready to sort of tell people who I am, I'm kind of unapologetic, you know. But then again, when you're kind of by yourself after doing it in your own head, you might kind of go, oh God, did I just say that? What do people think of me? Like sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm online so publicly doing this, being myself, so many followers. And I don't know, it's kind of scary sometimes because it's kind of like unknown territory, especially for me in Ireland, you know. So you just have to keep focused, keep pioneering, I suppose, and yeah.
How are we doing in Ireland with this? Are we getting better? I mean, can you happily walk down a street and for people to walk past you and not give you a second look? Or are you getting weird looks and words thrown at you? Are we doing better?
Well, see, it depends. Like one day I could not be noticed much at all, and then another I could be. So it's so hard to say. I can never say that we're doing well or not, so to speak. But I know in schools there's still high levels of bullying and self-harm and suicide, and sex education and LGBT education is still quite limited.
And was school tough for you?
Not in the sense that I was bullied, but it was because I was like conforming. So I wasn't Ivan as I am now. It's similar sentiment for a lot of kids in school. You know, they're shelled selves.
I can understand that as well, yeah.
When you say it depends on the days, there are days you could go unnoticed and there are days when you obviously would get a lot of second looks. Does that depend on how you decide to present yourself on that day?
Yeah, exactly. So I can, without even noticing, conform. So say, for example, this morning, you know, I could stay completely as myself now until I get into the studio, as opposed to maybe having myself all glammed for the taxi.
So in front of us now, this is Ivan?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, when I'm not like this, I'm also Ivan. But if I'm only one Ivan, I'm not Ivan, if you get me. I have to be able to express two sides of myself. Like if any girl, you know, she wears her, you know, tracky pants, and then she'll get glammed up. I want to do the same. So it's not that I, you know, want to wear makeup all the time. It's just that for certain occasions, I'm like, yeah, I want to show my beauty, because men can be beautiful too. And I am very kind of in the middle. You know, I can bring out certain feminine characteristics of my body and maybe dampen down the masculine, and it's interesting. You know, I do enjoy it.
Is it easy to find love in this situation?
I haven't had a boyfriend ever, and since coming out as gay after school and then exploring this side of myself, hasn't come into it. There's a lot of admirers online, but they're only admirers, so it's a different story.
You need to be careful online as well.
Yeah.
Would you like to meet someone?
Is that lonely? I was going to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, being a public figure in general is lonely, but dating is hard anyway, you know what I mean? But I suppose the thing is like I'm not only this way, so if someone was dating me because they liked me for being glamorous, they'd be disappointed, because a lot of the time I am it this way. And then likewise, if you want me just to be a guy, you'll also be disappointed because I like to express myself. So I suppose the point is just I like to do this sometimes, sometimes not. It's about just doing what I want, you know what I mean? It's not about being in a box, having to be female, having to be male. So
how do you, just very quickly before, how do you plan to make a living? Do you plan to make a living as a model, or do you plan to make a living as an academic or as a sociologist or psychologist?
Well, I kind of see my life as like different stages. So right now it's modelling and activism, and it could go into, I don't know, TV work and writing books and doing more like workshops in schools. And then later on, when I kind of get bored of it, perhaps, who knows, because it is difficult, go to academia, do counselling, I think would be good. It's all adding to my interests and my experience anyway, because I meet a lot of people, so it's good.
I definitely think you should hit London and New York, because you have an amazing catwalk body. You're very reminiscent of Erin O'Connor, I have to say.
Thank you.
How tall are you?
6'3", barefoot, so in high heels about 6'8", so.
Okay, that's perfect, perfect catwalk material. Get yourself to London, get signed up. Ivan, pleasure to meet you. Let us know how you go.
Thank you.